Hi, I'm Matt Brabbins with Remax Advantage Realty in New Westminster, BC. This video is part one of what to watch for when buying an old house, and we'll be talking about wiring. So as you're looking at old homes in the area, you're going to generally run into two different types of wiring: knob and tube and aluminum. As a rough idea, if you're flipping through MLS, you're looking at the age of homes. If it was built before 1960, probably had knob and tube originally. If it was built in the 60s or the 70s, most likely it had aluminum wiring. What you're looking for in a home built before 1960 is some sort of commentary from the listing agent or from your buyer's agent. Contact them, contact me, ask about the house, is to see that most of that knob and tube wiring has been removed and upgraded to modern copper wiring. It comes up most frequently not because it's actually terribly dangerous or risky, but the insurance companies have deemed it as such. They find it to be high risk for them. So someone living in the house today can have a house that is entirely wired with knob and tube wiring, and they get a pretty normal insurance rate. They've been in the house for 20 years. As soon as a new homeowner comes in, the insurance company goes, this is an opportunity to reevaluate the home, make sure that we have properly protected ourselves, and they will increase the premiums as such that to insure the house with knob and tube wiring in it, it is not very cost effective, and it makes more sense just to have all or the majority of the knob and tube removed and replaced with modern copper wiring. So if you're looking at a listing, a house built before 1960, and says all of the wiring has been upgraded, then you should be in a good spot. You don't really have anything to worry about. If it's not been upgraded, you're going to want to investigate what it means to have that replaced. There may be areas where it's harder to access. It's acceptable to put in a ground fault circuit interrupter, GFCI, like you would see in a bathroom, the regular receptacle you'd see in a bathroom. That works for some areas. Sometimes if it's just simple overhead lighting, no problem. Little knob and tube around the house is okay. The more important areas are the high demand areas, like a kitchen, living room, where you got a lot of media centers going, that kind of stuff. Insurance companies, if they know you have partial knob and tube in the home, they may require that you have a full electrical inspection done by one of their approved electricians at your expense. And with that checked off, then they can go ahead and give you your insurance policy with some knob and tube in the home. If you go down that road, absolutely make sure you keep that paperwork. You're going to need it for when you sell. So if you run into aluminum wiring, you don't have to worry about insurability right now at this stage. But again, you do want to investigate that if any upgrades were done, they were done properly. The big thing about aluminum wiring is that aluminum and copper as separate materials do not play well together. And if somebody's been doing some wiring work around the house and hasn't made those connections properly, and they've been connecting copper wires to aluminum, that can create some risks. Where you see problems with aluminum is that the wire expands and contracts, and over time that expands the connections, and then they get too loose. So when you have loose connections, you get arcing. Arcing is sparks. Sparks make fire. That's not a good thing. And then when you're connecting copper and aluminum together, again, they don't play well together as elements. You need an antioxidant connection there, and often a lot of DIY jobs or people who just weren't fully informed with what they were doing either didn't use an antioxidant connection or just weren't doing it properly. So if you're looking at a home with aluminum wiring, it is worthwhile, if somebody says upgrades have been done, to try to poke around a little bit and get a sense of if that work was done properly. So if you're going to bring in an electrician to check that stuff out, or to go ahead and properly pigtail all of those connections, again, make sure you keep paperwork for when you sell the house. I imagine this would be higher on people's minds and a more prominent talking point as years go on.